How do you negotiate your speaking fee?
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue. It is something you are.
So there are a couple ways to negotiate your speaking fee. The first way is you bring the Godfather along. No, I'm just kidding. Really, how do you negotiate your speaking fee? Well, the first thing is, do you want to negotiate in the first place? But in order to not negotiate, you have to make sure you're in a position where you don't need the money. So maybe you have tons of money saved up in your bank account, so you don't need the speaking fee. You don't need the 5, 10 grand or whatever they're paying. You don't need it because you have money in the bank. When you come from this position of power, you can turn down any gig you want. But sometimes you have to negotiate. Sometimes you want to negotiate. So what do? How do you do it? Well, let me tell you the wrong way. The wrong way is when you quote a fee, you say, it's going to be $10,000, and they respond saying, we only have $5,000, and you say, okay, that works. That's the wrong way because they just feel like they got ripped off. Imagine a car salesman. Imagine you go up to a car lot and you say, I want to buy that car. How much is it? And they say, it's 60 grand. And you go, well, I only have 20 grand. And the car salesman says, okay, we'll take it. How does that make you feel? You're kind of like, cool, I got a car for cheap. But then you think in terms of, wow, did he just try to rip me off? He just tried to make me pay 60 grand and really I just paid 20 grand. The right way to do it is to first recognize, do they want you as a speaker or do they just want a speaker? If they want you as a speaker, then they're much more likely to agree with your price. The right way to negotiate is like this. So you say it's $10,000 and they say, oh, we only have $5,000. If you really want to do that gig, well, now you respond by saying, okay, well, instead of an hour, I'll do 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Or let's say it was $10,000 for a 30-minute presentation. You don't want to cut it down to 15 minutes or something like that. You want to do the whole hour, the whole 30 minutes, and they only have half of what you just mentioned. What do? You always say, okay, I'll do it for $5,000, but you have to let me record the presentation. Now you're thinking like, what? I was going to record anyways. And of course, but they didn't know that. You have to take something away or add something in order to negotiate so they don't feel like they just got ripped off. You always say, okay, but, and then tack on something extra. They have to feel like they're still making the decision. That's why they give you permission to record, even though you were going to record anyways. When they make a decision on something small, they feel like they're getting a good deal. It's easy for them to give up something to get something. It's easy for them to give up letting you record for them to get a cheaper price. So the way you negotiate is really simple. First, do you even want to do it? Do you even want to negotiate? If you do want to negotiate, then you think in terms of, do they want me or do they just want a speaker? If they want you, then they're less likely to haggle on your price. If they just want a speaker, they're more likely to haggle on your price. But when they do cut it, when you do say 10,000 and they say we only have 5,000, you have to take something away by saying, oh, instead of an hour, it's going to be 30 minutes. Or you have to add something, or by saying something like, well, okay, I'll do it, but you have to let me record. That's how you negotiate your speaking fee.